I was trying to think of a title for this speech, and I thought of the start of the end. So we're obviously ending high school, and we're starting a new chapter in our life after we leave. So I'm going to talk about the first chapter of my life. Growing up, I had two sisters. I mean, I still have them. I don't mean had. One older, one younger. And we all went to a Catholic school. We went to St. Gabe's. The first thing that I noticed different from there and here was the grading scale. There we had 100% to a 93 was an A, and a 92 to an 85 was a B. So the grading scale from there to here was like crazy because I thought it was going to be so hard in high school, and it actually wasn't. Another different thing in that chapter of my life was we went to church twice a week. And at that point in my life, I didn't really have a choice to choose my religion. I kind of was just forced to go to Catholic school, and I don't really know. I'm pretty open-minded about my religion. It was a smaller school. We had stricter teaching. We were told that when we got to high school, we were going to write in cursive 24/7. You were going to have to write everything in cursive. Everything was going to have to be in pencil. And it turns out that it's opposite of that. My lifestyle was there, was very different there. We couldn't have any phones, and at that time we didn't really have iPhones or iPads. iPads weren't even a thing, but iPhones. We didn't have any distractions, but we had 40-minute classes, and school started at 8:30. So our life was different than it is now, but the schooling was a lot easier, but the teaching was harder. So then my second chapter of my life, getting to high school. It was faster paced. We only had 5-minute classes, or 5 minutes between classes. The classes were actually easier, and if anyone had Mr. Lewis, I think biology was kind of a blow-up class, if anyone agreed with that. And civics with Mr. Helbig, we actually didn't even take like a real test all year in 9th grade. We had open book tests. We didn't even have to study for it. So that was really different from St. Gabe's, where you had to study so hard for grades that I don't want to say didn't matter, but they kind of didn't. And now we have more distractions with people, and I didn't have to dress in a uniform when I got up here. So you could wear whatever you want, you could see whatever you want. And then in this chapter of my life, I did some activities throughout high school. 9th grade year, I played volleyball. I ended up quitting because I didn't really like the coach, or the people were very cliquey, so I kind of cut that out of my life. And then I started track and field from 9th through 11th grade. This year I didn't do track and field because I got a job 2 years ago, and it kind of took over a lot of my time, and I kind of regret that now that I'm here, and I could have done a lot more here. I took in photography club, and then I eventually bought a camera with my own money because I just loved the class so much. I also did Red Cross Club, and we did the Relay for Life. I only did that 9th and 10th grade year because, again, I didn't really have a lot of time, but the Relay for Life was really great because we got to raise money and celebrate the battle of cancer with people that actually went through that. I was also involved in Middle States accreditation, which kind of was low-key here, 9th and 10th grade. It was this group of people who give credit to your school and basically to get approved, so I was a part of that to give my student input. That was pretty cool. Recently this year, I gave a TED Talk, and I really didn't want to give it, and I told Mr. Harold that, but he basically said, we have the programs out and you don't have a choice, so I'm kind of glad that I had to stick with it even though I didn't want to and I didn't have a choice. The mock crash you guys all saw, I thought that was pretty cool because we could give you an insight on, like, obviously don't drink and drive, that's stupid, before prom. The Mississippi trip I went on, the Mississippi trip was a group of us, about 30 of us. We went and rebuilt a church in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and we got to meet locals there, and you think after 10 years you don't really think that there's a lot of devastation, but there were still houses and building plans that weren't even touched. There was still garbage everywhere. And then you go down the street and you see $1 million homes being built, so that was crazy to see. The water there smelled like eggs. It tasted like eggs because there was sulfur in it. We got bit up every day all over our arms and legs. And you kind of think that, like, when you get back here, you're really grateful for everything, and nothing really happens to you here because you think it doesn't happen to you, but you never know, something can happen. we went to New York, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I just got back from that, so that was pretty cool. I'm fortunate to have gone on a lot of trips throughout high school. Last quarter, I actually got my first 4.0 ever, so I was pretty proud of myself for that. Because my older sister, she never not received a 4.0. I mean, she worked for it, but I always tried to get a 4.0 and I never could, so I finally got that. And throughout high school, I met a lot of great people. I'm excited to continue to meet a lot of great people. But for my future plans, I'm going to go to CCAC because I don't know what I want to do with my life, and I hope that can help me decide what the next step is. Also in November, I'm planning to go to Mexico for a week to get a yoga teaching certificate so I can teach yoga to other people. I hope to travel the world in the future because I feel so enclosed in Pittsburgh and not really much to do. I haven't really explored it that much, but I know there's more out there. My goal is to really just be happy and explore new things. Next week, actually, me and Brian, we're going to the Humane Society to be volunteers. We have our orientation, so that'll be a different thing to explore. Then another future goal is to work at the zoo over the summer, because, no offense, but I don't like Supercuts, and I work there, and I really want a new job. So no matter how far I am from my best friend, Mary, which will be 59 miles away, and Brian doesn't know where he'll be, but I'm sure it's going to be a number of miles, I know that I made the best out of my high school experience, and I hope you guys all did too. Thanks.